Hi. I continue to expand on the theme of the previous video. Today I'll talk about examples of how people influence our thoughts and beliefs. This is important, as many of us are not aware of this. Such actions are called psychological manipulations. Their essence is as follows. Our dependence on the opinions and thoughts of our environment is laid in childhood. From the earliest years we get used to imitate more authoritative people in any cases when we do not understand what needs to be done. In childhood, as a rule, we generally don't understand what to do and when, and for many years we repeat everything after others. In the beginning, we repeat everything after our parents and relatives. Then we copy the behavior of the older guys in the yard. Then we learn from our favorite movie heroes and imitate show business idols and advertising heroes. And so on as we grow up. The habit of copying everything from others is usually firmly programmed in our subconscious. Having matured, we try to be no worse than our neighbors or peers. The idea that we can become worse than someone is simply unbearable for us. Copying habits are extremely difficult to break. The so-called crowd effect, which affects us almost everywhere, is based on this psychological feature of ours and on a number of instincts. And it appears in the following. Separately from other people, when we are either alone, or when no one sees us, each of us in one or another circumstance behaves in one specific way. But once in the society of other people, our mind begins to obey special laws. Moreover, this is not even about the crowd, consisting of our relatives, friends, colleagues, and classmates, people whom we know and whom we trust to one degree or another. Not at all. A crowd of completely unfamiliar people can control us. The crowd lives according to its ancient laws that have evolved over thousands of years. A large mass of people are usually characterized by increased irritability and emotionality, the absence of critical thinking and impulsivity. Moreover, after a certain amount of time, all gathered people usually have a common set of interests and a similar emotional state. Once in the crowd, our mind switches to an emotional mode of work, in which sometimes there is completely no logic or consciousness. That is why, once in a crowd, a person's ability to think independently decreases sharply, and he can perform a number of rash actions, which will then have to be greatly regretted. That is why with mass phenomena, acts of violence or vandalism are so easily committed. This irresponsible behavior is further reinforced by the idea that being in a crowd creates a kind of anonymity and confidence that since we are many, we are all taken together stronger and everything we do is fair. In addition, the crowd is allegedly responsible for all the deeds. And if so, then each individual participant in this same crowd of personal full responsibility, as it were, does not bear such a simple logic. The fast synchronization of the crowd is also achieved through the work of the most ancient instinct in us, the fear of becoming a black sheep. Usually he is accompanied by the following thoughts: what will they think about me, what will they say, and what if I look somehow strange? The fact is that thousands of years ago, people who stood out were always either expelled from the pack, or simply killed or eaten. That's why this mechanism motivates us to rather quickly board a common boat and behave like a majority. Knowing all of our weaknesses, those who benefit from it are usually willing to use these features of ours. Organized riots, various kinds of revolutions, mass psychoses in demand for some kind of product, or the artificial appearance of an avalanche of fans of a certain person is partially or completely based on the effects that I described above. As a result of them, we often do things that are far from really necessary for us, make useless decisions, waste our precious time, or litter ourselves with things we do not need. Thus, if you have some obsessive thought or idea in your head, then pause. It is advisable to get away from all people and stay alone with yourself. Ask yourself, is this really your idea, thought, or desire? Or, perhaps, an experienced manipulator introduced it in you, and from your actions it will receive greater or real benefits, and you will get only candy wrappers, or one or another kind of responsibility and not the most encouraging consequences from the results of your actions. Will it really be useful to you in the future? Why do you need this? Aware, it means armed. Put this knowledge into practice. To be able to think independently and make independent decisions is one of the most vital skills in our time. Now that you can think with your own head, in the literal sense, and not live with other people's thoughts and ideas, you can move on and build your own life, and not the life of other people. See you.